Yellow. How's it going today? Yes. Little yogis. Oh, cool. Love it when it works first try. So nice. Cool. Well, welcome. And hello to some morning yoga. If you're joining in live, might not be morning yoga if you're catching the rewatch. But kudos to you for fitting it into your day somewhere. Today is more of our flow, so I'm just getting my clock set up here. Little Vinyasa flow, but gentle in nature still. And then I always find if I have my mat too far that way, I almost smack my head on the table. So we'll just pull it this way a bit. Find those little adjustments. Maybe even kick it this way a bit. So I have room to twist and move. Perfect. Oh yeah. So nice. Well, how you doing today? What's shaking in your world? You feeling good? Having things? Things are good? All right. Well, today for our gentle-ish style class, I do like to do some of these more Vinyasa style classes. Just like on Wednesdays, just once a week, a little something or other to get the body moving a little extra. Maybe it feels really challenging for you. But also just to add that variety. I think it's healthy to move a little more and see to kind of show you. Maybe you might not be ready for one of those like intensive classes at a yoga studio, but there's lots of other options. And so this is my intro to gentle flow, where we can still move and I can still give you options where even like the flow itself is totally optional. You can stand in a forward fold and just hang out for a little bit, or you can do the full movement, getting your heart rate up and working on some of those muscles and strengthening and that whole little vinyasa sequence that we start to get into. So there's always options to really find yourself where you're at. You just need to give yourself the freedom and the permission to modify and do what you actually need to do. So it embraces that little inner rebellion within you, which oftentimes we've said no to for so long. Here is our chance to start saying yes and finding that exactly what you need. So let's dive on in, starting to get into a nice opening position. Sorry, I just have something in my eye here. Everything is just bugging me this morning. A little bit extra sleep maybe. Who knows what it is? Maybe it's an eyelash. Can't quite figure it out. Oh, but it is ever annoying. All right. Well, I'll just blink through it then. Yeah, but let's get into that nice starting off position. You can start seated. Seated doesn't have to be cross-legged. You can have legs extended. You can sit up on a block or a bolster or a little stool or something like that. Great way to add a little bit more gentleness even right there. Adding that little bit of height under the sits bones, under the hips, brings the hips just above the knees. It helps kind of create that openness, that spinning outward, engages a little bit differently in the low back and might be exactly what you need. So that's what we've got going on. If you're starting out seated, or maybe you're fine just sitting right down on the ground. It doesn't really matter. There's no gold stars for either option, or maybe you're just lying down. I actually, in a studio, I love to be reclined laying down. To start, you can just close your eyes and let everything else drift away and just simply hang out in the pose, in the posture. So starting to scan through the body, starting to bring some of that awareness to what's going on within you, what's happening physically, what's going on, what's your body saying to you. Do you have any sore areas? Do you have any tension? Do you have an old injury that you might be feeling, or how is it healing? Maybe you have a little gratitude for the progress you've made. Doreen, good morning. Welcome, welcome. Great to have you with me this morning for a little flow class. Let's settle into that body. So we're doing that little scan. Oh, and I feel like I've got allergies about to attack me here. I have no idea what it is. Got itchy eyes, runny nose now, whole shebang. So, all right, we'll just yoga right through that. That is how I'm feeling this morning. Random allergies. How are you feeling this morning? How does that body feel? How does that mind feel? Are you able to scan and see what's your emotional state like right now? Are you controlled? Are you centered? Are you at ease? Are you looking forward to the day? Do you have stressors about the day? What is that emotional state like for you? And can you start to control it and start being living in that non-reactive state, or you can decide how you want to be in this specific moment for this class, for this time. So take a little moment, center in there. Let's also connect in with the breath. Let's start to just take maybe a deeper breath, a little bit of a bigger breath. Starting to feel that inhale, filling the lungs, the rib cage, maybe even get a little bit taller. And take that exhale, let it be nice and relaxing. And then start to take that nice inhale breath. Breathing into that abdomen, using that diaphragm, nice big exhale. Let's take just a few more of those, really starting to get centered in. Taking another inhale. And a full exhale. Just enjoying that little bit of softness that comes with the breath and that little bit of ease. Maybe you roll those shoulders back and down. Maybe you unclench the jaw. And relaxing all the muscles through the face. Janet, good morning. Welcome to yoga. A little flow class. Might be a little more up your alley. Beautiful. All right, let's start to wake up the body. A little wiggle into fingers. Maybe a little wiggle of the toes. Maybe you start to roll wrists. Maybe you move a little more into the ankles. Getting some of those nice cracks and pops out. Maybe bring your head down to one side and slowly to the other. Just kind of waking it up. Feeling good. Beautiful. Let's take a nice inhale and sweep those arms up. Take just a nice good morning stretch just right off the bat. Reaching up nice and tall. Big reach, 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 and exhale. Bring those arms down. If you're in a reclined position, let's make your way back up to seated. Making your way onto your seat just for a little warm up here. Moving through. I always like to start a little bit cross-legged. That's just where I feel more stable and kind of works towards some other stuff with the knees and the hips. But if you have any modification, feel free to go ahead and do so. Let's start to warm up into those shoulders. Just starting to roll them back. Real nice, real easy. Maybe do really giant circles with the shoulders. Really kind of an exaggerated motion. Maybe even start to move a little bit from side to side. Just exploring that bit of movement. So it's not just about the pressing back, but it's also the pressing down and now the drawing forward of the shoulder. And try to have that whole section be active and on both sides, pressing back, drawing forward. Feeling that oppositeness start to happen. Start to use that brain to try to coordinate between one shoulder and the other. Let's break it down. Nice and simple here, just using left shoulder first. Lift that shoulder up, hug it real nice and close towards the ears. Start to press it backwards, pressing it all the way back as far as you can. Drop it down, lowering that shoulder all the way down. Press it forward, start to bring it forward, draw it all the way up. Start to rotate it back. Okay, so maybe you change it from the square to more of a circular motion, or maybe you really like that little 4-part movement of the square or the rectangle, whichever shape you want to call it. I like to think of it as a square, but I know realistically it's more of a rectangle. Beautiful. All right, find your stillness. Let's come into the other side, right side. Shoulder comes up, squeeze it nice and close to the ear. Shoulder goes back, drops down, presses forward. No, that's a hard one. Bring it up, roll it back, drop it down, bring it forward. So feeling that movement, maybe try to make it a little bit smoother, a little bit rounder, getting through. Okay, you ready for both at the same time? It's easiest if you start opposite. So start with one coming up towards the ear. Draw that shoulder back. Other shoulder, bring it forward. Switch up, back and forward. I don't know the best way to cue this since we have different things happening here, but feel how intentional that is as you move through it. All right, let's try to smooth this out, moving it from this rigid square into something a little bit rounder, a little bit smoother, but still intentional. So it's not just about the roll back. You've got that push forward as well happening on the other side. Ooh, how neat. All of that just for shoulders. What? Crazy. Beautiful. All right, let's find that stillness. Should we try it the other direction? Because why not? Just for funsies. Let's start to roll shoulder forward. Ooh, work with that. We'll just come right on into it. I'm not going to over cue this. It's just really rolling the shoulders forward, maybe moving the brain, thinking about the pulling back on the other side. At the same time, maybe you have a little twist happening through the spine as you actually end up adding in a little bit more movement and motion, or maybe it's just about the shoulders and you're not moving the spine, hips aren't moving, you're nice and grounded. So cool. All right, let's find our stillness. Give it a big wild shake it out. Come back towards that neutral. Let's just take an inhale and sweep those arms up. That feels a little more normal. Bring the hands, reach it up, hands come to touch. And take an exhale, draw hands towards heart center. Press into those hands. Little squeeze through the shoulders. Find that openness through the collarbone. Relax the shoulders, roll them back and down. And so good. Let's add in just a nice little twist in here. And twisting towards the left or really either direction. So we'll do both sides. Keeping those hands at heart center, just feel that squeeze through the middle, using just the muscles, just the core to squeeze. Maybe you rotate left shoulder a little farther back, pulling the right shoulder just a little farther forward. All right, let's drop those hands down. Take an inhale, get a little taller. Maybe you twist a little deeper. Maybe you just look behind that back shoulder, using the neck in the twist. Your choice whether you want to actively press into the hands, adding that depth, or just let it go through the neck, gazing over that back shoulder, listening to your body, what do you actually need today. Take one more nice inhale, try to see if you can find some more length, pressing up a little taller. Maybe on that exhale, you find a little more depth, moving into that exhale breath. Beautiful, let's release, come on back towards center, sitting in nice and tall. Bring the hands together, pressing in. Option to have palms really pressing together, or if you want to try something a little different, bring forearms together. So not just pressing in towards the hands and the fingers, but pressing in also towards the elbows and through the forearm. Just feel that little pull on the shoulder. Still try to find length through the crown of the head though, so we have a little rounding happening through the shoulders, but we're not quite hunching into this. All right, let's keep adding on to that twist now, twisting towards the right. Feel that little rotation, spinning around, spin, spin, spin. Feel that little pull of the shoulders. Maybe you press left shoulder forward or right shoulder back. Keep those arms nice and together, and then release those hands down. Press in, get nice and tall. Add a little depth. Or maybe just look over that back shoulder, or maybe do a combination of both. Maybe you see your tea you made this morning, you need to steal a little sip. Can't do yoga without something to drink. Nice little matcha this morning. So good. One more nice big breath. See if you can get a little bit taller. Really extend that head upwards. So good on the spine. Maybe you add just a touch more breath as you exhale. Just see if you can move into that space the breath creates. And let's release, come on back towards center, sitting up nice and tall. Let's switch the feet, opposite foot in front or on top. Just coming in to that other side and feeling how that feels. Take a nice big inhale, breath, really lengthen. Excellent, exhale, relax through those shoulders. Engage through the core, draw that belly button in a little bit closer towards the spine. Feel how now that activated into the low back. Everything is nice and strong. Ribs are pulling in together. Exhale, let's take a nice inhale, sweep those arms up, reach, 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 and hold. Maybe you interlace the fingers to make it a little more gentle if you want more of a challenge, and keep the hands separated, and keep trying to find that length, reaching it up, keep that core engaged. Take a little exhale, tip it down, over, going towards the left. And find that little tipping point where that hip wants to float up. If you want that a little more, press that leg down, and keeping that depth so nice. Keep reaching those arms. So good. Let's come all the way up, reaching up, lengthening, lifting through the heart. Maybe head drops back as you lift the collarbone upwards. Come back towards neutral. Tuck that chin in, extend the head, so nice and long. Let's go over towards the right, reaching so nice and tall and strong. And just waking up through those core muscles and getting into those obliques a little bit. Maybe find that tipping point where the knee pops up. And then you press it back in and keep reaching those arms up. Feel all that length. And so good. Come on back up towards center. Bring hands down. Bit of a side bend, but an active side bend because you're working hard through those. And still, in my opinion, super enjoyable. So let's add on a little more. Something we haven't done in class together, you and me, for a while. And start by adjusting our position. Plant your feet down. Have the knees coming in towards the body. And take a little moment and adjust however you might need to. I'm going to come off just on a bit of an angle. A, so I have a bit of room behind me. And B, so you can see all the levels we're about to hang out in. So, option one. Just working on bringing the knees a little bit closer in towards the body, working with that posture. So trying to lengthen through the spine opposed to having that roundy hunch happening. Just go just a touch more this way. So no rounding, let's lengthen. Adding that little resistance of hugging the knees. It could be a good option. You can hug the knees however you want. Hands on the knees, hands under the knees, wrapping hands around the knees pressing together, knees a little bit more open. My little externally rotated hips would way rather my knees press open a little bit here, so I've actually got some good resistance happening on my arms as I loop them around. See, I'm even starting to hunch into those shoulders. I've got so much, so I've got to really focus on lengthening a little bit more here. All right, if you're ready for a little bit more, and however you're holding onto the knees, make sure it's a nice good grip. I like to walk my feet in first and to try to find that tipping point where you're floating the feet up off the ground. So you can just hang out with toes down, you can have just heels down, you can play around with finding that. So this is the extra gentle version of our little boat. However you're holding onto the knees, it's good. Keep lengthening, keep lifting through the heart. And that's how I'll cue that nice straight spine. Roll those shoulders back and down. I'm going to start to release my hands slightly and just bringing them more towards the outside edges of the knees. So I'm still holding on here. Still, core is activating a touch more, but nothing too crazy. Feet still nice and relaxed. All about lengthening through the spine. Beautiful. If you want a little more, I'm going to start to tuck my hands just a little bit more underneath the legs and feet coming up. So anywhere between toes down and shins parallel with the ground. Keep rolling those shoulders back down, lifting through the heart center. So good. Really drawing those legs in towards the body. All right, if you're ready for that core to start to be nice and active, start on working on releasing those hands. Maybe you just do one hand and then the next hand. Feel how that starts to engage the core. And draw those inner thighs up and in. So pull that belly button in towards the chest. Take a nice inhale. Quick little exhale. That sets everything nice and strong and might be a great way to work on extending the legs, the arms, reaching it out so nice and strong, lifting through that heart, nice flat back, so good. Hanging out here for 3, 2, and 1. Bring those feet back down and add a little wiggle in, whatever you might need to do to release. Maybe you kind of hunch into it and sit up nice and tall again. Let's add on to that. Here's our core work for the day. It's just working with that little bit of boat pose. I'm going to tuck my hands underneath this time. Sitting nice and tall. Really, it's trying to keep those legs nice and connected in with the body, that we're trying to keep that connection. Coming up onto tiptoes, finding that little lean back, rolling shoulders back and down. Beautiful, engagement of the core. Starting to bring legs up. Beautiful. Starting to release the hands towards the outside, drawing those elbows in, or releasing the hands completely, reaching those arms forward. If you want to add a little more, start to open up the arms. The farther apart the arms come from the body, the more intensive we'll be making this. If you want more, try bring those hands up overhead and feel that intensity. Nice big inhale for 3, 2, 1. Release. Bring those feet back down. Take a nice inhale, nice exhale. Maybe a little rock from side to side. Got just one more for us here. So still your choice to add whatever depth you want to. If you find that sweet spot and you're happy working there, then go ahead and do so. But I'll just keep progressing it. We can do so much with our little boat pose. So find that little lean back. Draw those knees in, shoulders roll back and down. Core is nice and engaged. Drawing everything in here. Floating through the feet. Take a nice inhale, lengthen. Exhale, engage. Starting to release those hands. Maybe the feet come up. Maybe the hands release completely. Then we're working towards our little canoe. So with control, we're going to start to sink it down. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Maybe you add a little flutter in here. A little paddle, since we're talking about water and boats. Excellent for 3, 2, and 1. Now here's the extra tricky part. Let's come back into our boat. So using that strength, using that core to sit up, bring knees in, hug those knees into the chest, and drop those feet down. So good. It's our little boat canoe hangout. I feel like we should just try it again. So let's just try it one more time. Maybe you didn't know where I was going and you're scared, so you didn't follow along, and now you want to try it. Or maybe, I don't know, any combination in there. So hug those knees in. Sit nice and tall. Let's start to float those feet up. Take an inhale, lengthen. Exhale, engage. Drawing that core in. Maybe feet come up a little more. Maybe release those hands. And get ready, start to extend those legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Little 3-second flutter for 3, 2, and 1. Let's come on back up into our boat. Drawing the head up, chest up, knees come up, hugging in, nice and strong. Maybe you want one more powerful boat here. Maybe you extend the legs extra long and drop those feet down. Bring soles of the feet to touch. Knees falling open, hanging out just in a nice little cobbler pose. How did that feel? Good job working on your boats. So good. Let's lengthen through that spine here. Nice flat back. Take a nice inhale. Take an exhale. Just add just a touch of a bow in, keeping that back nice and flat. Maybe cup the top of the toes. Seems to be how everyone kind of moves once they get that little bit of depth. Maybe you add that little pulse in, a little bit of movement. How are those inner thighs doing? How's that low back doing? Boat pose is one of those ones that we often kind of compromise the low back in, kind of pressing out to help stabilize, especially if you have those weaker abdominal muscles. You might get a little bit of shaking that happens. All of that is the shaking is good stuff. The compromising into your low back, not so much. That's not how we want to strengthen low back, is by overload bearing the front. But it's a great way, especially if you just do a few of them, to build some of that strength and let it be good. So good. So feel good for a little break. Nice little cobbler pose. Feel like we haven't done one of these together for a while. All right, let's press on in. Come on, back up. Nicely seated. Let's spin things around, coming into our nice little all-fours position, finding that nice tabletop. Gotta get flowing here. Maybe you steal a little sip of water or your matcha. I had coffee first thing this morning. Now we're rocking T. I want to be vibrating by the end of this. So good. All right, tabletop, nice flat back. Let's just do a few little cat cows, a little inhale, start to look up, drop that belly down. Exhale, tuck the chin, round those shoulders up. Take a nice inhale, start to come up. You can slow these down or speed these up however you want to take them. Just taking a few little breaths to move through. So good. Finding that nice connection. Find that nice flat back, pressing in. Yeah, let's come into a little bit of tiger pose. I wasn't going to, but it feels so good. So let's send right toes back. I always like to start by touching toes down, planting the toes down and rolling that right hip down. Yep, it makes it harder. Works with your alignment, connects everything in. Walk those left fingertips forward, pressing them down. So first, find your stability here. And pressing into right hand, left knee, maybe even top of left toes. Take an inhale, lengthen, tuck the chin, exhale, engage that core, and start to float foot up. When you feel confident and stable there, if you want more, float left hand up, extending nice and long, and keep those back toes pointing down, keep rolling that right hip down. So good. Let's take 3 little crunches. Elbow towards knee. Nice exhale. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, draw it in. Reach it out nice and tall. One more. Exhale. Reach it out and hold. Hanging out here. Keep rolling that right hip down. Extending long through the heel. Reaching those fingertips a little further forward. Beautiful. Drop the hand. Bring that knee back in. Take a nice little sway from side to side. Pressing the hip out in either direction. So good. Let's find our stillness. And getting ready, coming into the other side. Left toes go back. And they touch down. Roll that left hip down. And start to feel good here. Walk right fingertips forward. Extend the head nice and long. And pressing into left hand, right knee, maybe even top of right toes. Take that exhale, engage through the core, and send the foot up. Maybe take a little glance. Make sure those toes are still pointing down, or rolling that hip down still, and then reaching the right fingertips up. Reach, 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 so nice and strong. Still that option to keep the hand out if you prefer. And you can do the crunches even with the hand down, just bringing the knee in. So let's take those now. 3 little crunches, elbow towards knee, take an exhale. Take an inhale, reach it forward. Reach, reach, reach on that inhale. Take an exhale. Draw everything together. Nice inhale. Reaching it out. Last little exhale. Crunchy breath. Reach it out. So good. And hold here. Keep finding that length. Little tuck of the chin. Maybe that foot kicks out a little further. Hand reaches a little bit more. So good. And drop the hand. Bring that knee back in. Take a nice little sway from side to side. So good. Still doing good out there? Excellent, because that was our warm-up. Just kidding, that's about the pace that we'll be keeping. So, I like to walk my hands forward, getting ready to come into a downward dog. I just like to create a little bit more space straight up. That's the only reason why I walk my hands forward here. Tucking my toes under, starting to lean back, finding that nice alignment, pressing into those hands, pressing into those toes, knees start to come up, hips float up, and the head tucks under, pressing in so nice and strong. Reach into those hands, send those hips up a little bit higher, really feeling that little crease. Take a nice inhale breath, nice and strong. Exhale. Maybe you pedal it out. Find that little bit of movement. Nice little stretch on the back line of the legs. So good. Let's do a little flow. Let's do the Vinyasa part of the class now. The option to either just drop the knees if you're getting tired and don't want to, or you can try it pressing into that nice plank position. And you can drop those knees down if you want. And then lowering down, letting the elbows graze the ribs. Take a big exhale. Maybe you come all the way down Taking a nice little back bend. See how my elbows are still nice and tucked in. Start to press into those hands. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Extending the head nice and tall. Beautiful. Option to hang out here in your little baby cobra, or always that option as we warm up to press up a little bit higher. Not feeling quite ready for that yet. Maybe on the next one. And then from here, tuck the toes, start to press all the way up. Maybe you move through that little child's pose or puppy pose. Tucking the chin, pressing into hands, lifting those hips up as you press into the feet. So good, that's our little flow. Should we try one more, but just a little bit quicker? That's the option that's coming to our plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Coming into that nice little back bend. Maybe just hanging out. And then tuck toes, push back, downward dog. So good. Nice inhale breath, full exhale breath. Let's look towards the front of the mat. Take a hop, step, jump, or maybe a couple of little tiptoe steps into a nice forward fold. Letting the body hang heavy. Maybe playing around with the legs. Maybe you add a bend to the knees. Release that low back. Maybe you work on straightening through the legs, lengthening through the hamstrings. Excellent. Take a nice little inhale, a little halfway lift. Bring the hands above the knees, roll those shoulders back and down, extend the head. Nice and super long. Hanging out here just for a little moment. Feel that nice stretch on the spine. Start a little recovery. Bend the knees. Sink those hips. Option one, pressing in here, find a little length. Option two, bring hands to heart, engage that core a little bit. Option three, tuck that core in, sink a little lower. Reach hands up. Beautiful. Pressing all the way up towards standing. Reach it up nice and tall. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Rolling the shoulders back and down. Standing nice and tall. Feeling those feet. Beautiful. Let's step right toes back. And coming into, we'll start with a high lunge position. So keep the hips and the shoulders facing forward. And as you step those right toes back, maybe you hang out high on those toes, really pressing forward. Maybe the leg is straight, or maybe there's a little bend to the knee. Maybe there's a big bend to that front leg. Keep rolling. Left hip back, press that right hip forward. I love to bring my hands onto my hips and to connect in with that little feeling. So good. Nice and strong. Rolling that hip back. Excellent. Sweep those arms up. Beautiful. Nice high lunge. Maybe a little crescent lunge if you want to add a little back bend in. Maybe you simply just want to reach up a little higher. Maybe you change the gaze upwards and that's enough for you. And if you want more, you can start to reach those hands back a little bit farther. Press those hips forward. So good. Nice. Inhale. Exhale. Press into those feet. Come back up towards neutral. And let's start to transition into our warrior two. So reaching the arms north and south, dropping that back heel down, and maybe bringing the feet a little bit more in line with each other, like you're standing on a balance beam opposed to two separate tracks. More distance between the feet, and more challenging, closer together, a little bit more gentle. Take a nice inhale, lengthen, draw that head upwards. Exhale, sink into it, bending through that left leg. Just a beautiful little warrior two. Imagine that right hip spinning open. Maybe you really feel that tension through there. Maybe it's nice and easy. And so good, just keeping that knee in line with the foot. Not necessarily you can straighten the leg, but then the knee is still in line with the foot. It's not falling inwards or falling outwards. So that's what I mean there. It's not about finding that 90 degrees. Beautiful. Nice warrior two. Let's drop elbow down onto knee. Little extended side angle. Most gentle version is straightening it gently through the leg. Elbow just hanging out. hand on the hip. Keep rolling that right shoulder open though to find that. If you want a little more, bend a little more through the leg. If you want a little more still, right hand starts to reach up towards the ceiling. Extending that head nice and long, pressing into the feet, feeling that strength, so good. Reaching up, maybe gaze goes up. Beautiful. Let's start to sweep back up, pressing into the feet, all the strength through the legs as we reach it back up into a nice warrior two. So good. Let's give that front leg a little break, straightening through the leg. Reach it up nice and tall. Find a nice big stretch here. Holding and exhale back into your warrior two. So good. Feeling the body connecting. Let's flip left palm so it faces upwards. I love to bring my right hand onto my hip here, and then I sweep that left hand up and coming into a nice little reverse warrior. This is the I'm a little teapot version with the hand on the hip that keeps you bending into that left leg. But if you'd rather track that arm down the leg, that's a nice option. Or maybe you start to bend a little bit more, pressing in, reaching backwards. So much openness through the heart, through that side body. Nice inhale, full exhale. Start to press it in. Come on, back up. Reach it out. Some of my little favorites is that extended side angle and that reverse warrior. But let's throw a little humble warrior here. And so let's first give that leg a little break. Straighten the leg. Reach it up nice and tall. Exhale. Back into that nice warrior two. Bring the hands behind the back. Interlace them, actively pull it down. And if you want a little more on the shoulders, you can reach for opposite elbows or even try a little reverse prayer. I'm going to go for elbows today. That feels pretty good. Add that bend into the left leg. And let's just gently align shoulders just a little bit more forward. So my back foot is still pointing towards the long edge of the mat. And take that exhale and start to add that little bow. Here's the humbleness of our warrior, pressing into those legs, into the feet. Body can just rest on that leg if you would prefer. Or if you want a little more, body can come off to the side of the leg, either extending that head nice and long. Maybe you extend the arms up, interlacing them. For opposite elbows again, pressing into those legs. Let's come on back up, nice and tall and strong. Release those arms, maybe give them a little shake. Bring the hands to heart center, and let's just align hips and shoulders back towards the front, twisting towards the left. So at some point, you'll hop up on those back toes, maybe even adjusting the stance of that foot a little bit more out towards the side. Imagine you have two tracks on your mat, foot going onto that second one. Beautiful. Let's shift our weight more towards this front leg, hopping it up. Right leg maybe touches down, maybe you keep that right leg up, and as you bring the leg forward, maybe hold on, giving a little squeeze, bringing it up, just working with a bit of balance here, pressing into that left foot. Find something to focus in on, nice little drishti point. Nice inhale. Lengthen. Exhale, engage through that core. Maybe you flex through the foot. Beautiful. Bring that foot down. And touching it down onto the mat. Excellent. Let's take a little flow here. Little inhale, reaching it up. Exhale, bowing all the way down into a nice little forward fold. So like I said, folds are optional. If you want to just hang out in this forward fold, you're so welcome to. No shame there. It's a great way to work on hamstrings. Good for proprioception, hanging with your head below your heart, hanging out upside down. But if you want that little bit more, let's take an inhale. Nice little halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees so you can plant the hands down. Take a big step back or hop back into a nice little downward dog. We'll take 2 flows here. So downward dog, pressing so strong. Come to plank. And drop those knees down, take that exhale lower. Coming all the way down. A little inhale. And take your little back bend. Keeping those elbows tucked in. So nice and strong. And then tuck those toes under, push back. However you want to make it to your downward dog. Go ahead. I really love the through child's pose or through puppy's pose. Just helps me set my arms and my shoulders. Lift those hips. Let's take one more flow if you want it. And coming to plank. Lowering down. Take your little back bend. Nice little inhale here. Exhale. And press it in. Move on back, downward dog. So good. Let's look towards the front of the mat. Hop, step, jump, or tiptoe into that forward fold. So look, we all met back in the forward fold. No one was left out. We all took what we wanted, and it was good. Beautiful. Nice little inhale, little halfway lift. Bring those hands just above the knees. Roll those shoulders back and down. Flatten that back. Extend the head so nice and long. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Quick little chair pose. Maybe you just find some length here. Maybe hands hang out at heart center. Maybe you draw that belly button in and reach those hands up. So good. Press all the way up to standing. Reach up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. Step those left toes back. I'm coming to a nice little high lunge. I'm going to switch it so the front of my mat is opposite, just so my back is not towards you. So left toes pointing towards the long edge of the mat. Right toes pointing forward. We're getting nice and bright outside. This is great. Sinking. Oh no, we're in high lunge. Come on, Janelle. I lied. High up on the left toes. Right hip rolling back. Hips and shoulders squared towards the front of the mat. Maybe you have a bend to the knee. Maybe you straighten through the leg. Maybe you bend through the front knee. Let's reach those arms up. Reaching it up. So nice and strong. Maybe gaze goes up. Maybe hands reach back a little farther. Maybe hips press forward. Maybe you sink. Take a nice inhale. Lengthen. Exhale. So strong. Let's come on back up and towards neutral. Hands reaching up. Start to send right hand forward, left hand back. Drop that left heel down into that warrior 2. Maybe even hop it back so now the feet are more aligned with each other. Beautiful. Nice warrior 2. Finding that openness through the hip. Arms reaching out. So good. Let's drop elbow down onto knee. Left hand hanging out on the hip. Leg can straighten slightly if you need that. Or you can add some more depth in. Roll left shoulder open. Take an inhale, draw the ears a little bit farther away from the shoulders. Left hand reaches up. You want that a little bit more. Nice sunshine on your face. So good. Beautiful. One more nice inhale. Pressing into those legs. So nice and strong. Maybe you sink just a touch deeper. Beautiful. Using the power of the legs, let's start to float ourselves back up and towards that warrior 2. Straighten through that front leg. Reach it up nice and tall. Give yourself that nice little break through that front leg. So good. And let's exhale back in towards our warrior 2. Bending through that front leg. Reaching those arms out. Flip that right palm facing up. I know you can't quite see my hand here. Thank you, bright day. Left hand hangs out on the hip. And start to reach right hand up. So good. Keeping those legs nice and still. Maybe sink a little more into that right leg. Maybe gaze goes up towards the ceiling. Maybe hand tracks down the leg. Reaching up. So nice. So strong. Nice inhale. Nice full exhale. Beautiful. Let's come on back up. Reaching forward, reaching backwards. Beautiful, warrior two. Take a little break, straighten through the leg. Reach it up. So good. Exhale. Bending through the leg. Hands sweep back behind you, getting ready for that nice little humble warrior. Maybe you grab that opposite grip. Maybe you reach for elbows. Your choice. Nice inhale. Exhale. Just start to align the shoulders just a little bit more forward. And pressing into that left foot. Feel that little shift around. And take that exhale. Start to bow it down. Nice flat back here. Maybe the body just hangs out on the leg. Extending that head so nice and long. Maybe the body comes off just to the side of the leg. Pressing it a little bit more. Maybe work on lifting the elbows up off the back. Getting into those shoulders so strong. Or maybe you just want that stretch and you extend the hands upwards. Beautiful. Pressing into those legs. And start to come all the way back up. Reach those arms out. Beautiful warrior two. And bring hands to heart. Start to twist towards the right now. Aligning shoulders and hips towards the front of the mat. So that back foot, you might hop up onto those toes. Adjusting the stance. Start to shift your weight towards that front foot. And stepping upwards. Maybe that left foot stays floating as it comes all the way up. And hugging that left leg in towards the body. Finding a moment, working on balance, finding that point of focus. Take a nice inhale and lengthen. Get nice and tall, press into that right leg. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Find that strength through the core. Beautiful, let's release the foot. Bringing it down, stepping it out. I'm going to find my way back towards the top of the mat. Excellent. Last little flow sequence of the class. Let's take a nice inhale breath. Reach it up. Exhale. Bow it down. Look forward. Fold. So even if you don't want to flow, you can make your way to downward dog and you can find a child's pose. That's another alternative. So let me guide you there if you want that. You can inhale a little halfway lift. Bend the knees so you can put the hands down. Take that nice big step back. Press into your downward dog. And then drop the knees down. And take your child's pose or your puppy's pose, whichever you prefer. Or if you want to flow, we'll take two of them. And coming to plank. Lowering down. And take your little back bend. Maybe you press up a little higher. Feeling that little bit more openness that you have. And extending the ears far from the shoulders. And tuck the toes. Press back. Downward dog. Nice and strong. Excellent. Let's take one more. Coming to plank. Lowering down. Nice exhale. Take your inhale. Reach it up. Beautiful. And tuck the toes. Press back. Take that downward dog. Excellent. Reaching so nice and strong here. Take a full inhale in your downward dog. And exhale. Exhale, drop those knees maybe nice and wide. All meeting in a nice little child's pose. Hands press backwards towards the heels. Forehead drops down. Maybe connects down with the mat. Feeling that nice inhale. Nice full exhale. So good. Beautiful. Let's start to press into those hands. Coming up and rolling onto our backs. Spinning around. Taking a few little moments to cool down and unwind. Planting the feet. Knees go up towards the ceiling. Roll those shoulders back and down. Little tuck of the chin, extend the head nice and long. So good. Exhale. Soften throughout the body. Beautiful. Let's bring those arms out towards the side. Just reaching nice and long. Let's bring those knees over the hips and drop the legs down towards the left or really the right. It's just a nice twist. We'll do both sides. Maybe that left hand comes on top of the legs. Maybe gaze goes over towards the right. Relaxing through the body. Feeling that nice little rotation. Let it feel good. If you want a little more, you can start to extend the legs a little bit longer. Maybe that hand goes a little bit farther down the legs. Just finding that nice twist that you enjoy. One more nice inhale. Nice full exhale. Maybe you add that bend back to the knees. Let go of the legs and press those legs all the way up and right over towards the right, dropping down. Nice little twist here. Maybe gaze goes towards the left. Maybe hand comes on top of the legs. Reaching it out. Excellent. Nice inhale. Nice exhale. One more breath here. Just breathing it in. Maybe add a little softening. Maybe you extend those legs. Beautiful. Let's start to release. Come all the way back up. Drawing those knees in towards the body. Just give them a nice big hug. Nice little squeeze. And if you want a little more, you can reach the hands through the knees. For the feet, the toes, however you want to hold on, or maybe just hold the back of the legs, but from the outside. Knees draw in towards the body, and feet go up towards the ceiling. Good old happy baby, or my one instructor called us awkward adult. That stuck with me, because I think that's hilarious. So good. Here's a little freestyle portion of the class. So if there is another pose or movement that you would love to take before settling into some Shavasana, some little rest portion of it, breath work, go ahead and play around. A little waterfall is really nice, feet up in the air. Maybe one little bridge, planting the feet down, lifting the hips up. Your choice. Whatever you need, go ahead and take it. Or if you just want more Shavasana, that's a great option too. I'm going to start to settle into it. So when you're ready, settle into your Shavasana. If you're doing something on one side, make sure you do it on the other. Or if you're ready to roll those shoulders back, find that space for the breath. I'm going to do palms facing up today, feet just falling outwards, connecting in, noticing the body. Maybe remembering that intention and becoming aware of your class. Nice full inhale. Exhale, let it go. We'll take 2 more big inhales that exhale out to the side. So getting ready, breathing in nice and deep. Then release. One more big inhale breath. Let it go. And take all the time you need here in this final Shavasana. But this is where I will roll up to say goodbye. And I thank you so much for joining in on a little free morning yoga, a little Vinyasa yoga this morning. Hopefully you found what you needed throughout it. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day filled with moments of joy. And then I pray that you are always blessed. Thank you and namaste.